What's up, guys? Welcome back. So tonight I got a quick video for you. We're just going to be doing some rocker box gaskets on a 97 Sportster. It's got the Evo motor in it, so anything with that motor in it is going to be relatively similar. It came in for oil change, drive belt, and leaky rocker box gaskets. So we're going to get these changed out, and then I'm going to give it back to the owner and call it a day. Alright, so I already took the gas tank off, obviously. Sportster gas tanks are really easy to take off. They're just 2 bolts. If you have something like a Road King or Heritage or Softails, I think Softails are 1 tank, but like take the Heritage for example, is 2 tanks, and anything with the bezel on it in the middle is a little bit more difficult, but it's pretty straightforward. I'm sure you can figure it out. Move the cover, which is just 4 Allen head bolts, just like on the back here, and I pulled the spark plug boot off. I'm going to end up pulling the spark plug off the other side too to turn it over. But the only thing in here so far, oops. Alright. So the way these work is underneath that first initial cover that's only held on by 4 Allen heads, you got a rubber O-ring gasket here, another one in here, and then underneath this intermediate tray here is actually another O-ring gasket there. Once that comes up, there will actually be a metal gasket underneath the 3rd plate. It's really not that hard to do, but I just want to show you guys how you go ahead and do it. When you take this off, don't stick a screwdriver in there and try and pry it off. It should just pop right off. If you have to, go ahead and grab yourself a rubber mallet of some sort and just hit the side. It'll pop right off. If you stick a screwdriver in there, you're going to scrape all this up and it's going to look like crap. So just quick little tap on the side here, and it pops right off. Go ahead and lift it off. So take the small ones off first, then take the bigger ones off so you don't stretch the bolts or damage the threads. So before you go ahead and pull this apart, make sure you take the spark plugs out, because you're gonna want to get the compression or the tension off of the springs here, so you're not fighting a set of springs. So first, go ahead and pull the spark plugs out. Alright, sorry about that, guys. The battery died on the camera. So what I'm going ahead, I already got the tension relieved off of the rockers themselves just by spinning it over, taking the plugs out. Go ahead and remove the smaller bolts along the edge here, and then come back through and completely remove the inner bolts holding the whole thing down. So now that we got that taken apart, I just want to take a second and point out the difference in gaskets of what the original equipment came with and the OEM replacement. So if you can see, they were 2 separate gaskets, and they were of paper material of some sort, which basically fall apart. The replacement is 1 piece. Let me see. There you go. The replacement is 1 piece, and it's metal, so it should last a lot longer and seal nice. Alright, so we got the gasket replaced. I should have mentioned this beforehand. Hopefully you watched the video through before you even attempted this, but the bigger bolts here, this one, and these two back here, they are different lengths. So the shorter ones are going to go towards the left-hand side of the bike. So I guess the side where the shifter would be the left-hand side if you're looking at the top, and then the longer bolts are going to be on the right. So I went ahead and put all the bolts in. No matter what you do, there's always going to be a little gap here. So you're going to want to use the big bolts to pull it down tight, not the little ones. So you got three littler ones here, one down in here, and then one over here. And then you also have 2 Allen head bolts in the corners. Those are all going to get tightened last, but you want to go ahead and basically snug this down so that way they're just touching. Then go ahead and tighten the little ones up so that way they're just touching. Don't wrench them down. And then you're going to go ahead and go back through and actually suck this down, like wrench it down with the big bolts to the point where you don't see the gap anymore. And then you're going to go back and you're going to go ahead and torque all the bolts. Look up manufacturer spec on what the torque is for your bike. I'm going to say these are most likely, I'll look them up before I go ahead and do it, but I'm going to say these are like 13 to 15 foot-pounds. And then those are probably, the smaller ones are probably 8 to 9 or 8 to 10. And then the little Allen head ones are going to be inch-pounds. So don't torque those to foot-pounds because you will snap them off. And then you're doing this all over again with the pleasure of having to extract bolts from the cylinder head. All right. So it really wasn't that bad, right? You could do it in your own garage. I just wanted to show you guys quickly how it was done. I'm gonna go ahead and put the rest of the bike back together. So I'm just gonna put really it's just the gas tank back on and the spark plugs back in. And then it's good to go. We're gonna send it back to the owner, but not before a quick test drive. So let me put this back together and I'll take you guys along for that. All right guys, so we're going to continue on this Harley project we got in here. It's been gone for about a week, but I haven't had a chance to edit the video and put it up on YouTube yet, and it's back for a different issue. Turns out he's got some ignition issues that was going on. I've been real busy here, so I didn't record all of it, but I'm going to show you guys what I did to fix it. And if you guys have the same issue, you can kind of go by this and check the same stuff. So here we go. Alright, so the first, he had an issue with the bike shutting off and then wouldn't restart after it was already warm, or it would backfire while he was driving, and it was just wouldn't run right for him, and he couldn't keep it running, and then sometimes couldn't even get it started. So first thing you check is check for spark. So take the spark plug out. You don't have to take the top two out. You take the ones on the side. Take one of these out, one in the front or the back, and rest it on the fins and see if you get spark. If you don't have spark, then you're going to want to check your coil up here, right here. You can test those. I think they're supposed to be between 12 and 18,000. The one that was on the bike was only, don't hold me to it, but I think it was somewhere around 1,500 or so. So that one was bad. That's a brand new one we put on there. After we replaced that, it would start, but it wouldn't start and stay running all the time. So it turns out the ignition module cam sensor behind this plate here had melted, and I don't know where the other one went, but alright. So after we replaced the ignition coil over top the cylinder over here, this up here, once I replaced that, it would start and it would run, but it backfired real bad, almost like it was timing was off. So first thing I did was I popped this cover off here. Inside here is going to be the cam sensor or ignition module. This thing, this one was melted, as you can see. So this was bad. So replace that, and then we check the timing. The timing you check is right back here. There's a Allen head. I think it's 1/2 inch. Take that out with the bike running. It does spray a lot of oil out, more like a mist, not really like a stream or anything like that. So if you're quick about it, you can check the timing without putting in one of those clear covers if you don't have one. If you do it real quick, hook up the timing light, start the bike, aim the light at it, and if you got the 2 dots in center, then you're good. If you don't, you can twist this inside here a little bit, and it'll get you where you need to be. And then, so we did that, and afterwards it would run, and it would run great for a while, and then intermittently it would shut off and couldn't restart it. So it really kind of felt like more like an electrical issue than anything else, because I had fuel and I had spark, but I couldn't figure out why it wouldn't stay running. More or less on test drives, it would sit here and idle fine, but if I was driving it, it would shut off. So one thing I checked was the wiring. Underneath the seat, I'm not going to take it back apart now, but underneath the seat there's a bunch of wiring, and I found that there was 3 wires that were pinched, and they actually were the wires for this right here. So they were the green one with the white tracer and the red one with the white tracer. Those are actually for the for that ignition / cam sensor module that's behind that cover. And so once I replaced that, once I fixed that, I took the seat apart, took the harness out, fixed the wiring, and then put it back together, and now it runs fine. So if you're having an issue with your bike not staying running, backfiring, sounds like a miss, or sounds like it's jump timing, check those things. Check your ignition coil, because those tend to go bad, especially when it's if you have an issue with it, shutting down when it's hot. Test your coil. So you can find plenty of instructions on how to test your coil on the internet, so check that, and then after that, go ahead and check your cam sensor or ignition module, whatever you want to call it. You can test that without taking it all apart. You can actually check the resistance in the wire through that connector that I just showed you. And then if you're still having issues, take the seat off, move the module out, the computer that's underneath the seat, move that out of the way, and then look down in there, because that's where all the bulk of the wires are, and there's not a lot of room. Obviously you can see it's quite a bit of wires and a small little space to work with. So they do get pinched in there, and then bikes vibrate a lot. So you're gonna have pinched or rubbed wires, and that's what the issue was with this. Once we got that fixed, wrapped everything up in heat shrink, and then wrapped a nice layer of thick electrical tape around it, and everything seems fine. So we're gonna go ahead and take it for a test drive again, and then give it back to the owner. All right, guys, here we go. Alright guys, that wraps it up for us tonight. On the next video is going to be about this Mustang here behind me. So if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button, smash the notification bell so you know when this video comes out, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.